It's a really cold day out today. It feels probably like minus 15, but it's only, I think, about minus 6. You can't tell. I just took my toque off. But what I want to talk to you today in this video is real estate investing. So I've been getting a few requests actually to put more real estate investing videos on this channel. On the channel, as you know, I talk about Oakville real estate. I talk about things relevant to sellers as well as buyers that are in the Oakville market. We talk about pre-construction condos, but again, increasingly, I'm getting requests for real estate investing videos, so I'm going to kind of include this in the mix as well. So this may be relevant to you. If it is, feel free to watch. If not, just watch the next video. But what I'm going to talk about in this video here on real estate investing is what is happening now with the real estate investment market. Currently, right now, at the time of recording this video, we're in December 2024, and interest rates are starting to go down. We just had the Bank of Canada just reduce rates yesterday, December 11th, once again. And they're saying with their monetary policy, they're going to continue to monitor and they'll likely continue to reduce rates in a more gradual manner. So we're in a declining interest rate environment now. But what does that mean for real estate investors? If you are a real estate investor, if you know a real estate investor, or if you're looking to maybe invest in real estate in the future, or you want to kind of give, a friend or family member some advice on real estate investing. So what are people buying now? So like real estate investors that are investing, what are they buying now? The reality is that the condo market is different for investors now. For many years, we saw the rise of condo prices. We saw pre-construction investors buy into the pre-construction market, multiple units. Now that has changed because we had the rapid increase in interest rates and then pricing, especially if you look at major cores, the pricing came down on condos. So investors are spooked, they're afraid, they're on the sidelines when it comes to pre-construction and when it came to buying multiple units within pre-construction. So the kind of the party days, with regards to them buying multiple units, that's on hold. So investors on the whole are generally sitting back. They're being very conservative, and they're not looking to take on any unnecessary risk. So what are people buying, right? It varies, right? So people are still buying pre-construction. The buyer of pre-construction now is more the owner occupied, or it's the parent buying for their children. I'm seeing that. We're seeing that on our end. Parents buying for children, pre-construction with a new building, a new unit. The completion's not going to happen until 4 or 5 years, that sort of thing. So we're seeing that segment active. The investor that used to buy multiple units, they're completely on the sideline because it's unpredictable for them. They don't want to take on any more risk. And then you have the investor who perhaps is newer, or they've got capital. They're exploring markets like Calgary, where it's a much more stable and balanced market currently compared to if you look at the Toronto market right now. So people are exploring investment opportunities in Calgary still. On the pre-construction side, I still see that happening. So that's kind of what people are buying. The market for investments right now is we're not seeing investors buy multiple units as they were doing that for many years. And again, that comes down to the unpredictable nature now of the investment market, where for many years, prices were going up like this, and investors could basically buy something and not put too much thought into it, and make out okay. But times have changed, so what I'm seeing on the grassroots is people are not buying multiple units really anymore. And that kind of occurred when interest rates started to rise. Investors pulled back quite a bit. What does the future look like? So that's the $1 million question, right? When we take a look at, the pre-construction market, we take a look at, interest rates rose, steadily, and prices came down, and now interest rates are going down. So what happens now, and what does the future hold? The reality is no one has a crystal ball, right? Within the resale market, so that's people buying investments that like already exist, like an existing house or an existing condo. That has been going on forever, right? That'll continue to go on. There'll be investors interested in buying like a resale condo or a resale house. So that I see continuing to happen. I get calls on that all the time. People are curious. They're looking at buying, some of our listings because they're investors and they're just, they want to kind of keep on going and keep on investing. But from the pre-construction side, how does it look? I mean, that's a video that's a totally separate video, right? Because there are so many things there that need to be addressed. One thing is development charges with developers. Are they reduced? What happens with them? And I think something needs to change really from a policy point of view, in order to get investors back into the market once again. Because will it be just interest rates that cause consumer confidence for investors for them to jump back into the market? Maybe. But I think that we're in a time now, because if you look at the core, if you look at the downtown core, prices came down. So why would investors want to jump back into the market? There needs to be incentive for them. They need to feel that they're able to make money when they're investing once again. So I think that, the future is uncertain, especially when it comes to the pre-construction market. Like I said, the resale market, existing homes, existing condos, existing multi-unit buildings, so like duplexes, triplexes, that sort of thing. Investors will continue to buy those as they always have. But the pre-construction side of things, when we look at where we came from and where investors were buying multiple units, when does it get back to that state of affairs? No one really knows the answer to that. But like I'm saying, will it be just interest rates declining that cause investors to get back in? I don't think interest rates alone will result in that. We need to have the economy performing well. People need to feel confident. There needs to be jobs, right? So there needs to be consumer confidence. But as well, I think we also need a little bit of incentive. And I think that development charges need to be addressed. And if development charges were lowered, I think, or eliminated, right, that would be a big incentive for people to buy, because they're saving money on the bottom line. And when you look at Ontario versus Alberta, when you buy new construction in Alberta, your closing costs are minimal. It's basically like, your lawyer's fees. There's no HST, there's no development charges, there's no land transfer tax, whereas you have all of that in Ontario. So I think things need to be addressed as time goes on. Hopefully they're addressed. Time will tell. We'll see. So the future is uncertain, but I think interest rates declining on its own will not cause investors to jump back into the market in a big way. So what property type do you pick if you pick a property type moving forward? I think that you can't go wrong with resale, because that people feel they can touch it, they can feel it, they're familiar with it, there's no uncertainty with it. So I think that will probably be a property type that gains more popularity in the future as people look forward in terms of, what do they buy? If they're an investor, if they've got capital, will they choose resale or will they choose pre-construction? I think we're probably going to see resale get more attention than it had been getting when the pre-construction market was on fire for so many years. And then finally, to address, a question that I get asked all the time, been asked this question for 20 years, right? Where should you invest? right? That's the most popular question. Where should you invest? Not what should you buy, but where should you buy? The question comes down to Ontario versus Alberta. I think that currently, right now, if I were like an investor starting out or an intermediate investor, I would look more towards Alberta versus Ontario. I think that there's good opportunity in Alberta. The deposit structures are favorable. The reduced closing costs are a huge benefit to investors. Generally speaking, Alberta as a place to invest is a lot more appealing now, in my opinion, versus Ontario because of the difference in closing costs and pricing, and just the general interest in Alberta as a province, right? The immigration, there's people going there because it's an affordable place to live. Yes, prices are going up, but compared to Ontario, compared to BC, um, there's a lot of runway for Alberta. So if you're an investor, if you know an investor, if you're talking to an investor, at a party, at the holidays or whatever, mention to them Alberta, because from an investor standpoint, you save massively on your closing costs. Again, there's no land transfer tax, there's no HST, there's no development charges in Alberta. You're paying all of that in Ontario. The prices are lower in Alberta, and deposit structures are favorable too, depending upon what you buy. If you're buying pre-construction as well, generally speaking, I see better kind of deposit structures in Alberta versus Ontario. So on the whole, my pick is Alberta right now for investment, if you're an investor looking to invest. And as well, we didn't even touch on this at all, which is a huge point as well. The landlord and tenant laws in Alberta favor the landlord, whereas in Ontario, again, that's a totally separate video for another day. It's so in favor of the tenant that it's so imbalanced, and it's truly ridiculous. Like when you look at the way that the landlord and tenant system is here now, tenants are favored, you know, and it's really impossible for landlords to get anything done. And we hear stories. I have multiple clients who have it's taken them a year to get out a non-paying tenant, over a year to get out a non-paying tenant. They've lost 15, 20,000, $25,000 in rent. They're fronting that cost, and it's very broken in Ontario. So when you look at just where can you put your money, and where is there less risk to you as an investor, it's Alberta right now. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to help. Reach out. My email is somewhere here. If not, send me a DM, and always happy to chat. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.